Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're going to start today on the back. Coming onto the back, squeeze the knees in towards the chest. Rock a little side to side. Feel the whole back expanding on the mat underneath you. See if you can find comfort in the center. You can let the hands be heavy on the knees for now and just take a couple deep breaths here. Allowing the whole back to relax onto the mat. Feel that unwinding behind the area of the heart. Let the belly button sink towards the spine. Maybe you can feel the thighs on the belly with the breath. Take another big, deep breath here and just become aware as you exhale of these places that are sinking into the floor, sinking into the mat. And then we're going to keep a hold of the right leg. Let the left leg go long on the mat, just letting it extend. And then bring the hands interlaced around the right knee and just give that right knee a little squeeze towards the chest. This is actually a position called expelling the wind, expel the wind. So we're just going to allow that right knee to sink towards us, maybe draw the right knee in a little bit towards the right armpit. Take another few breaths here with that left leg extended. You might feel an opening in the inner groins on the left side. Squeeze the right knee towards the right armpit. And just allow this unwinding here. See if you can find another 2 breaths. And then we'll release the hold on the right leg, interlace the hands behind the thigh. So you're extending that right toe towards the ceiling. And we're just going to take a few breaths here, pointing the right toe towards the ceiling on the inhale. And as you exhale, flexing the foot, drawing the toes to point back towards the direction of the head. Let's see if you can really slow it down, lean into that edge. Let your breath start getting even longer here as you press into the range of motion, the growing edge. Take one more breath, inhaling, point the toes at the ceiling. Really let that breath be nice and long. And then as you exhale, draw the toes back to point towards the face. And then we're going to bend, keep a hold of the right leg exactly as you are. Bend the left knee so the left foot is on the floor and the left knee is pointing towards the ceiling. And then bend the right knee so that you can place the ankle of the right leg over the left thigh bone. I'll change direction so you can see. Coming into cobbler here. So the right ankle is well past the left thigh bone. Flex the right foot, and then we're going to reach through that triangle and around the left thigh, interlace the hands behind the left thigh, and pause. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Keep that right foot flexed. Let the left foot relax. You can bring the right elbow into the right thigh as you draw the left thigh bone towards you. So we're in a little cobbler, not a berry cobbler, but the cobbler who fixes shoes. So you can think of bringing the foot towards you, making a little table here. And then just breathing here and letting unwinding happen. Keep drawing that left thigh bone towards you. Now, at some point, you might even be able to interlace the hands around the front of the left shin, drawing it in even closer. If that's not quite available, just keep your hands around the back of the thigh and just let this unwinding happen as you draw the left thigh towards you, right elbow, helping open up the right thigh bone. See if you can take 2 more breaths here. Keeping that right foot flexed, letting that left foot relax. Now we're going to keep the contraction of the legs with the right ankle over the left thigh bone exactly as it is. We're going to release the hold of the left leg so the left foot comes down to the floor. Right ankle still stacked over the left. Take the arms out to the side, and we're just going to take a little twist here in cobbler. So bringing the right foot down to the floor. Now make sure your right foot relaxes on the floor. The right shoulder is down. If the right shoulder starts coming up, just lift both shoulders, find a little steadiness between the two shoulders. Now you have a choice with your left hand. You can either press the right leg away from you so that the right knee is pointing towards the ceiling, or you can draw that right leg towards you so the knee is pointing more towards the face. Whichever feels more comfortable, more available. See if you can find that. And then you can keep the hand on the right thigh, drawing it towards you or pushing it away from you, or you can let both arms come out to the side. And you can close off the eyes here. Head and eyes can be facing the ceiling, straight up the ceiling at this point. Or if you want a little bit of opening, you can just gently let the head roll to the right. I'm going to see if we can find 5 more breaths here. So allowing your breath to go nice and big and expansive on the inhale. As you exhale, let the body just sink into the mat. So gravity is doing most of the work. And just arriving as you exhale. Letting any thought of anything you have to do later, just release with the exhale so that you can fully just let go to gravity. Let go to gravity and fully feel the back body on the mat. One more. Full breath in, full breath out. And then we're gonna just roll back onto the back. Don't worry about unwinding the legs too much until you're back on the back, and then unwind the legs, squeeze the knees towards you, rock a little side to side, reset the spine here. We'll bring both palms to the top of the kneecaps. Just take a big circle with the knees using the hands and the arm bones to take the movement. One more big circle, and then draw the knees towards the chest. Take the circle the opposite direction. And then squeeze the knees towards the chest, rock a little side to side, feel the whole back underneath you. Take a breath here in the center. Notice how the heart feels as you inhale. Notice if you can drop the belly button and the organs down towards the spine and release the lower back. Just squeezing both knees towards you. And then we're going to extend the right leg long on the mat, keep a hold of the left leg, interlace the hands over the front of the left shin or left knee. And then on the exhale, draw that left knee in a little deeper towards the left armpit. As you exhale, squeeze that knee towards the armpit. Maybe on the inhale, you feel the belly against the thigh. You can feel that expansiveness as you exhale, draw the knee towards the armpit, and you can feel a little bit more opening in those inner groin area. One more big full breath in, full breath out. And then we're going to release the left foot to point towards the ceiling, interlace the hands behind the left thigh. And really working with our full range of motion here. Pointing the toes towards the ceiling, full breath in. Exhale, point the toes back towards the face. Let the full breath out. And go ahead and work with your range of motion and the full breath, really pressing into that edge, growing edge, that range of movement, and feeling where the edge of that range is, pausing there. And I've mentioned it before, all the fascia, all the connective tissue, it all comes down into the foot. So it's really important that something in the low back can feel tension because there's tension in the leg and they hit the foot. Might even affect the ankle or give you a sense of plantar fasciitis. So make sure you're just really pressing the edge there. And then we're going to bend the left leg, or the right leg rather, bring the right foot onto the mat, right knee pointing to the ceiling. And then bend the left knee, place the left ankle on top of the right thigh bone. Pause there, let that left leg drop so you can feel the openness there, and then reach through the triangle around the outside edge of the right thigh, draw the right thigh towards you, and use the left elbow to open up the left thigh. Keep the left foot flexed, relax the right foot. And then just pause and breathe here. And with each exhalation, perhaps you can draw the right leg towards you a little deeper. So you can find 3 more breaths here, just drawing that right thigh towards you, keeping the left thigh open. You might want to play with that, bringing the fingers to interlace over the front of the right shin. Just see how that feels for you. 2 more breaths here. And then we're going to release the interlace of the hands behind the right thigh. Place the right foot on the mat, but keep the left leg exactly where it is. Coming into a twist over to the right. So the left foot's going to come over to the right. If the left shoulder comes up, bend the elbows, find some steadiness between the 2 shoulders. And then you can play here with bringing the hand inside the left thigh rather, to push it away from you, or grab the outside edge, see what it feels like to pull it towards you. And you're welcome to keep your hand there working that, or you can find that position that feels nice and juicy and then let both hands open to the side. If it feels right, you can let the head look over to the left, or just open up a little bit in the cervical spine towards the left. And then just breathe. See if you can let the body relax on the exhale so that gravity is doing all the work. A few more breaths here. And if you've looked the head over to the left, on an inhale, go ahead and draw it back to look up towards the ceiling. Take another full breath in. As you exhale, feel the whole body release and sink into the mat. And then rolling back onto the back. Unwind the legs. Hands on top of the kneecaps. Rock a little side to side so you feel the steady and evenness between the 2 sides of the body. And then go ahead and take both knees to the tops of the kneecaps. Draw the knees towards you. And then let them move away from each other. And back around. So as if you're rowing your own boat here. 1 more. And then squeeze the legs towards you. Rock a little side to side. Feel the whole expansiveness of the back underneath you. And then we'll rock and roll up and down the spine from the tailbone to the shoulders. So just give yourself a little massage here. See if you can really round the back. So if you feel a flat spot, you can stay there and see if you can really round until you can find a balancing point. We'll come up into boat pose. You can start boat pose with your hands behind the legs, flex the feet. You can stay there or you can release the feet and the arms. See if you can keep the feet about the same level as the head. Try not to go way high, but keep it about eye level. And if you want to add a little spice here, last 3 breaths, you can come down and then back up. Last breath. And then you can cross the feet at the ankles. We're just going to roll over into tabletop. So coming into tabletop, hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. Find steadiness here, and then just start by swaying the body a little side to side, opening up on the lateral sides of the body. And then come back to center. We'll do our little cat-cow flow here. So go ahead and untuck the toes, take a full breath in. As you exhale, draw the belly button towards the spine, round the back, let the head release, and then press yourself all the way back into child's pose. Take a full breath in, full breath out in child's pose. On an inhale, we're going to come back forward through tabletop, tuck the toes, and then draw the shoulder blades together in the back. Look forward, find cow pose. Take a full breath in, full breath out in cow pose. And then we'll take this as a little flow. Untuck the toes, coming into cat, draw the belly button towards the spine, release the crown of the head towards the mat. Press back into child's pose, take a full breath in, full breath out. On an inhale, come back forward through tabletop, tuck the toes, draw the shoulder blades together, find cow pose. Take a full breath in, full breath out. 3 more like that, untucking the toes, rounding the back, find cat. Keep that, pressing that belly button towards the spine, moving into child's pose, full breath in, full breath out. Coming forward on the inhale, tucking the toes, finding cow pose, shoulder blades together in the back, full breath in, full breath out. 2 more rounds with your own breath and pacing, moving between cat into child's pose, pausing in child's pose, moving through tabletop, tucking the toes, finding cow pose. Last round. And as you finish this last round, coming into your neutral tabletop, tucking the toes and taking some big hip circles. So start by seeing how big of a hip circle you can take. It doesn't matter which direction you start in. And if you find any tension along the way or a flat part of the circle, stay there and just press into it. See if you can notice what's there. And then the next time the buttocks come towards the heels, pause and take the circle in the other direction. Noticing where the circle is flat, stay there and press into it. And then the next time the buttocks come towards the heels, pause there. And then come back forward into tabletop. We're going to tuck the toes if they're not already tucked. Start moving our way into downward dog through puppy pose. So take your hands a little wider than shoulder distance. Press into the knuckles of the fingers, especially the thumb and the first finger. Toes are tucked. We're going to press into the hands, bring the arm bones alongside the ears. Knees are deeply bent, puppy pose. Let the shoulder blades come together in the back, let the heart come towards the mat. And then start to extend in one leg, heel coming down towards the mat. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Bend both knees. Extend to the other leg. Bring the heel towards the mat. Full breath in, full breath out. And then just start walking your dog here any way that feels nice. And remember, the heels don't have to come all the way down to the mat for downward dog. Perhaps your heels are lifted and your knees are slightly bent. That's okay. What we want is this extension in the spine. So finding this dynamic diagonal from the hands all the way down to the sits bones in the bottom of the pelvis. So then go ahead and see if you can find your way to relax in downward dog. Even if the heels are a little bit lifted or the knees are a little bit bent, pressing into the fingers, the knuckles of the fingers to find that extension in the spine. Take a full breath in, full breath out. And from the steadiness, we're going to start walking the hands back towards the feet. Take all the time you need, bend the knees as you get there, and then see if we can find a forward fold to the back of the mat. So just hang there for a moment. If it feels nice, you can clasp the opposite elbows and rock and roll yourself a little side to side. Check in with your head and neck. See if you can release any tension. The crown's coming towards the mat, chin's coming towards the chest. And if you're rock and rolling from side to side, go ahead and take one side and then the other, and then we're all going to meet back at the center. Release the arms, release the hands, let the head hang, and then we're going to roll up the back. So press in the feet, soften the knees. From the lower back, draw the belly button towards the spine, let the head and shoulders hang. Middle back, upper back, head and neck come last, all the way to standing. Let the arms rise up. Interlace the hands, and then just press up towards the ceiling, and then leaning into one side. Oh, all the way up to center, leaning into the other side. And then back to center. Bring the hands in prayer. Just pause at the heart center, press the thumbs into the sternum, take a full breath in, full breath out. Release the hands to the side. We'll find Tadasana back at the top of the mat. Feet are hip distance. You can bend the knees, feel your feet underneath you, maybe take a shake or sort of bounce into them so you can really be aware of the feet. As you relax the knees, see if you can let the tailbone loosen, see that you're not holding anything around your sphincter. And then we're going to roll the shoulders out, bring the shoulders up to the ears, squeeze the shoulder blades together in the back, and then release. You can release with a sound. 2 more. Last one, really squeeze all that stress out. And then from Tadasana, with the strength of the mountain, on an inhale, let the hands float up overhead. Look up at those hands, get a little back bend. And then exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Release completely into your fold. On an inhale, half lift, fingertips to shins, extend through the crown. On an exhale, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back into plank. Take a full breath in plank. And then lower your knees to the mat. Untuck the toes. See if you can bring the chest and chin between the hands and then roll forward. Find a cobra here and then exhale down back to tabletop. Take your juicy movement, hip circles or swing side to side. And then back to tabletop. From tabletop, we're going to come into a little side plank here. So I'm going to move on the left side, so I'm facing the mat. So I'm going to move the left leg so it's perpendicular to the rest of the body and on the floor. Right leg is extended here. And then from here, we're just gonna play with half moon, lifting that back leg. Flex that back foot, the upper foot. So right foot is flexed and lifted. Right arm is lifted. Take another full breath in, full breath out, and then place the foot back on the floor. We're gonna take some rotations with this right hand. Inhale here, and then exhale. Bring the right hand underneath the left armpit. Inhale, float the right hand back up. Exhale, taking just a little twist, reaching the right hand underneath the armpit, and then inhale back up. See if you can find 3 more. Last one. And then here from side plank, once again, we're gonna lift that back foot, flex the right foot. You'll find that that helps lift the whole leg. Take another full breath in, full breath out here in half moon. And then set the upper foot down, turn back into tabletop, and take some juicy movement here. Lubricate up those joints. And then we're gonna come on to the other side. So from tabletop, first I'm gonna just take that right leg, knees bent, and just moving it out away from the body. So it's perpendicular to the rest of the body. And then the top leg, which is the left leg now for me, is extending still on the floor. So find this position. And then left hand up towards the ceiling, left leg lifts. Flex the left foot. Just notice what's going on. We're going to come back into this. So just notice how this feels. Notice the difference if you don't flex the upper foot and then flex it. And then set the foot down on the mat. Upper arm, we're going to reach down underneath the armpit. Taking just a little twist here. Inhale up. Exhale. Two more. Last one. And then coming back into our half moon, lifting that left leg up, or the upper leg up, depending which side you're on, extending the hand towards the ceiling. See if you can find 3 more breaths here. You got this. Keep the foot flexed. All right. Exhale the foot back to the mat, back into tabletop. And then just take your hip circles or any juicy movement, whatever you find comfortable here. It's going to help energize and lubricate the joints. And then from tabletop, widen the hands a little wider than shoulder distance. Tuck the toes, finding our way back into downward dog. Through our puppy pose with our bent knees, extending through the back by bringing the arm bones alongside the ears, tailbone extending towards the heels, and then walk your dog out. And then see if you can find a moment of stillness there in downward dog. Take a full breath in, full breath out. From here, we're going to float that right knee up, bend the right knee. We're going to float up the whole right leg, not just the knee. Take the whole leg with it. Bend the knee, and then take a circle with the right knee. Take the circle in both directions. And then we're going to very carefully extend that right foot forward between the hands. So you're in a low lunge. Hands framing the right foot. Bring the left knee down to the mat. With the toes tucked on the back leg, you can inhale, draw the hands all the way up. And then we're going to open into a twist, open the arms and turn towards the right, turn towards the side of the bent knee. And then inhale up. So again, think of lubricating the joints, moving through this little flow, opening the arms up towards the right, and then back to face forward. 2 more times. And then back to your low lunge. Hands back to the mat, frame the right foot, lift the left knee, step back into plank. Take a full breath in. Lower the knees to the mat on the exhale, untuck the toes, lower the chest and chin. Between the arms, float through, find your cobra. Exhale down, tabletop. Take any movement you'd like in tabletop. And then making your way back to downward dog through puppy pose. Find that extension in the spine. And then here in downward dog, just see if you can find steadiness here in this pose, comfort and steadiness. And then we're gonna lean everything into the right foot, lift the left leg, bend the left knee. Take that left knee in a big circle. Take that circle in both directions and then step the left foot forward between the hands. This time the right knee will come down onto the mat. When you feel your steadiness here, lift the arms up. Low lunge. Opening up to the left side for a twist. And then inhaling forward. Exhaling for the twist, inhaling forward. Exhaling to the left. See if you can find 2 more. And it's really up to you what you do with the arms coming down or back. And then we're back in our low lunge. Exhale the hands back to the mat. Lift the right kneecap. Step the left foot back. Back into plank. And then we're going to lower the knees. Untuck the toes, chest and chin, rolling through between the hands like a little snake, and then exhale down, back into tabletop. Take your juicy movement, and then find steadiness in the center, tuck the toes. See if you can really distinguish the weight into the fingers, the knuckles between the fingers, so you can get some weight off the wrists, and then press yourself through downward dog. Walking dog as much as you need to find that comfort and ease here. So maybe comfort and ease for you today looks like keeping the knees bent. Maybe comfort and ease is walking it in a little bit. Whatever that is, see if you can find 1 more breath there. And then once again, we're going to walk the hands back to meet the feet. And then let yourself hang there for a moment. If it feels nice, you can clasp onto opposite elbows, relax the crown of the head, and just rock and roll yourself from side to side, or you're welcome to just hang in the center. And then we'll release the hold on the elbows. Soften the knees for the roll up. So first softening the knees, feel the feet below you. And then rolling up, lower back, middle back, upper back, head and neck come last. Hands floating up, interlace the hands. And then just let the palms go towards the ceiling, shoulder blades together in the back. And then leaning to one side. And then leaning to the other side. And then back to center. Now we've been working on a little flow to work our way up into half moon and all these poses with the pelvis facing the long end of the mat. So if you have 2 blocks, place a block on either side of the mat, either end of the short end of the mat. We're just gonna play with this half moon. We've done it on our knees. We're gonna just take it up standing. So we'll take a wide leg stance. And we're gonna work our way there from warrior two. So go ahead and turn, I'll mirror you. So I'll be going the opposite way. So I'll do my best to call out the right directions. So the right toe is pointed towards the short end of the mat. And then the back foot, the left foot is parallel with the edge of the foot's parallel with the back end of the mat. Arms are out to either side. Now, if we bend the front knee, we're going to find ourselves in warrior two, looking over that front arm. Just take a full breath here, full breath out. And then turn the front palm towards the ceiling, reverse the warrior, reaching towards the back foot. Inhale, coming through side angle. So the right arm gently finds the right thigh. And then from here, straightening the front leg, opening up, finding triangle. Full breath in, full breath out. Now we're going to take the upper arm to the hip. We're going to bend the right knee and just, you can even have your block in your hand and just, doesn't have to be all in one graceful step. You can start bouncing yourself forward or just find your way to lift that back leg and use the block to help steady the front of the top of the body. Now, you can look down at the floor to start. It's going to be a little bit easier. Flex the lifted foot and then see if you can look forward towards the long end of the mat. If you feel steady here, you can rise up the top arm. Keep that upper foot flexed. Full breath in, full breath out, and then we're going to soften the standing knee and find warrior two. Full breath in, full breath out. Well done. Go ahead and straighten the front leg, turn the toes so they're both facing the long end of the mat. Interlace the hands behind the back or clasp onto opposite elbows. We're going to take a forward fold here. So we're going to have even a little bit more spaciousness, bringing the heels out and the toes slightly in. Draw the knuckles towards the heels, open up the heart, and then find your forward fold. Let the hands float up overhead. And then just let yourself hang and relax. Let the hands keep coming up towards the ceiling. See if you can find 2 more breaths here. And then go ahead and soften the elbows. Draw yourself back up to stand. We'll turn the left toes towards the short end of the mat. Bend the left knee. Right foot is parallel with the back end of the mat. Arms up. Warrior two, looking over and beyond the back of the front hand. Let yourself just find this pose here. Find steadiness here for a moment. And then when you feel ready, you're going to turn your left hand towards the ceiling, reversing the warrior, reaching for that back foot. And then windmill through. So the left arm bone comes to the top of the left thigh bone, side angle. And then straighten the front leg, find triangle. Full breath in, full breath out. And then we're just going to bend the knee, bring the top arm to the hip, find the block, and then just see what we need to do to find our way into half moon. So first you're going to be looking probably down, finding your steadiness, slowly looking forward. Remember to flex the foot you're lifting, and then let the arm rise up. Find your steadiness here. 2 more breaths. And then we're going to bend the front knee. Let the lifted leg come back to the mat. Ta-da! Back into warrior two. Take a full breath in. Full breath out. And then straighten the legs. Turn the toes towards the long of the mat. Interlace the hands the non-habitual way. Might feel a little funky with the other thumb on top. Now, if you find that your palms are coming apart as you lean forward, extend the index finger. So instead of having your palms that are, or your fingers are laced like this, extend the index finger. And then take your forward fold and see if that's a little different for keeping the palms together, which is going to help keep the shoulder blades coming towards each other, retracting the shoulder blades on the back. And then let the head and neck hang. I'm just going to take 3 more breaths here, so let them be nice and juicy. And then soften the elbows, rolling back up to stand. Arms out at either side. Bring the heels in a little bit so the toes point out. Find your star pose. Brighten the fingers. And on an exhale, we're going to bend the knees and find our way to goddess. And just pulsing here between star pose, inhaling, exhale, goddess. Now, if you'd like, you can add a Kali breath. Stick out the tongue, pierce the eyes. 3 more. And as you come into the last goddess pose, you're going to pause there and take a little dance. So goddess dance can be whatever you want. Knees are bent. You can be moving the clouds around the sky. You can be taking whatever movement you'd like to here. Just find your version of goddess. Take a full breath in, full breath out. And then back up to standing. We're going to heel toe the heel toe the feet in one more time. Coming into Malasana squat. If you know this is a growing edge for you, move towards the wall or bring your block with you. We'll inhale the hands up. Today we're just going to exhale down into our squat. Bring the elbows inside the knees. Pause here. And see if we can look forward and open the heart. Really pressing those arm bones into the thigh bones. If the wrists hurt at all, you can bring a fist inside the palm. And then see what it feels like to just engage and lift the pelvic floor here. 3 more breaths. And then we're going to release onto the mat. So you can come onto the mat. Hello. We're going to take both legs. This is called deer leg pose. So I'm going to bring, again, I'll mirror you, the left leg in front, left foot on top of the right thigh. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to take a twist towards this front leg, so towards the left. You can bring the right hand onto the left thigh and just press yourself into a nice and gentle twist here. Allow the breath to lift the crown of the head, and on the exhale, maybe you could twist a little bit more deeply. 1 more breath. And then unwind yourself. Bring the legs in front. So now the right leg is in front, left, right foot's on top of the left thigh. Take a full breath in so you feel that lengthening of the spine, and then we're taking a twist towards the right. So on the inhale, maybe you can feel that extension in the spine, this lifting of the crown, and on the exhale, just twisting through that, taking the twist a little deeper. Full breath in, full breath out. And then release back towards center. We'll take both legs out in staff pose. Now, if this is a growing edge for you, if you have any sort of low back pain today, you can bring a pillow or something underneath the knees so that the knees stay a little bit bent, a little bit soft. Either way, don't lock the knees. Keep them so that they have a little bit of movement in there. That way you won't injure the low back. If you have a light block, a foam block, you can bring it between the hands, and I'm making an L shape with the hands and pressing the hands towards each other. It's just going to help engage Draw the shoulder blades down away from the ears and retract them towards each other in the back. So if you don't have a block that's light, that's okay. You can still bring your arms up overhead and get this sense of engagement here. If you do have a block, go ahead and just look forward, squeeze the block. We're going to take 5 exhalations to get down. So we're going to move just on the exhale, taking a full breath in, squeeze the block, exhale, and just bring yourself just a little bit forward. Take a full breath in, exhale, squeeze the block, and keep the arm bones out of sight. On the exhale, moving forward. So keeping the arm bones out of your peripheral vision. One more on an exhale. And you've probably reached your end of your range of motion. So maybe you can bring the block to the bottom of the feet. Maybe you just set the block aside and can bring the hands to the feet. Maybe the hands are just alongside the legs. Wherever you're at, just be there. Allow the crown of the head to relax towards the legs. We're going to take 5 breaths here. So wherever you are in your body, remember, we don't want to lock the knees. And just let ourselves hang here. Two more breaths. And then we're going to release wherever the hands are, bring them alongside the legs, press yourself up. Now we're going to bring ourselves all the way onto the back. So reset the back, draw the knees towards the chest, rock a little side to side. And then we'll place the feet on the mat, finding bridge prep pose. Now again, if your block is handy, if you have a foam block, you can bring it between the thighs. If you have only a wooden block, then you can just keep it aside. Now here in bridge prep, we're going to do some roll-ups into bridge. And I'm going to use the block here to just squeeze the thighs together to get this engagement. And see if that changes anything. So you can start with the elbows, the upper arm on the floor, elbows bent, fingertips towards the ceiling. Take a full breath in, and on an exhale, if you're using the block, squeeze the block between the thighs, let the belly button come towards the spine, and then press into the feet. Lift the pelvis, roll up onto the shoulders, take a full breath there, and then on an exhale with control, see if you can lower yourself down vertebra by vertebra. All the way down, feel each vertebra coming down, and then place the pelvis on the mat. Take a full breath in, full breath out. We'll take 2 more like that. So taking your breath in, on the exhale, squeezing the block, letting the belly button come towards the spine, pressing the feet, lift the pelvis. Use those upper arm bones once you get into the shoulders to take some of the weight. And then moving on the exhale, setting each part of the back down separately. Release the squeeze of the block, release the pelvis onto the mat, take a full breath in, full breath out. We'll take 1 more. Moving on the exhalation. Squeezing the block, pressing the feet, using those upper arm bones to take some of the weight when you arrive to the shoulders, taking that full breath in, and then exhale, roll yourself back down. Ever so gently. Now, if you have the block between the legs, go ahead and remove that. We're going to come into our full bridge and see if we can find 5 breaths here. So now it's as if you're squeezing a virtual block. So you're just getting that sense of helping engage those muscles in the thighs to lift. So take your full breath in. Again, moving on the exhale, rolling up onto the shoulders. And then this time, seeing if you can draw the arm bones underneath you, interlace the hands, press into the feet, and then keeping that sense of squeezing the block so your legs aren't slaying out, but you're actually drawing the thighs towards each other. Keep pressing the feet, keep lifting the pelvis, Can still use those arm bones to help you lift here. See if you can find 2 more breaths. And then you've interlaced the hands. Go ahead and release them. Using the upper arm bones to help control the body as you roll back down. Set the pelvis onto the mat. And then we're going to come straight into our twist here. So before squeezing the knees to the chest, we're just going to gently use that same movement here to lift the pelvis just the tiniest bit, bring it over to the right, set it down, lift the legs, block or spacer between the legs. Legs are coming over to the left. Arms are out alongside the body. Find steadiness in the shoulders by pressing into the arm bones. See if you can bring a little bit more evenness between the 2 shoulders. Pause here. You can look towards the ceiling, or you can, on an exhale, let your head move to look towards the right. And then just breathe here. We're going to take about 5 breaths here. So just let gravity do the work. Maybe you can feel this unwinding, this diagonal from the shoulder to the hip. And if you have a spacer between the legs, you can go ahead and remove the spacer, roll the head back up towards the ceiling, and then we're going to walk the feet back so we're back onto the back. Once you're back in your bridge prep, you can just let the knees windshield wiper out the legs until you can feel the low back again on the mat. And then press into the feet, lift the pelvis, move the pelvis over to the left, set her down, lift the legs, spacer between the legs. This time we're taking the legs over to the right. Once you arrive, you can steady the shoulders by pressing into the arm bones, lifting the shoulders. Take a moment there, and then see if your head wants to unwind to look towards the left. And then you're just pausing here, breathing 5 breaths. One more big full breath in. Full breath out. Letting the head unwind back towards the ceiling. Reach down, remove the block, and then walk the feet back towards each other. Squeeze the knees in towards the chest, rock a little side to side. Find your steadiness here. And you can keep just squeezing the knees towards the chest in this little fetal position on the back, or I invite you to open up the legs and find child's pose, either bringing the peace fingers around the big toes, reaching for the outside edges of the feet, or even letting the arm bones with the hands facing up towards the ceiling, just letting the feet come into the hands. Whatever version of child's pose feels good here, just take a moment to allow a little bit more space in the low back. You can even be walking the hips towards the, away from the face, towards the foot end of the mat. And then just take a couple breaths here. And then we'll start to make our way towards Savasana. So if you know you like a pillow underneath your knees, go ahead and bring that. And then extend the legs long on the mat. Let the feet come wide apart from each other. You can walk the shoulder blades towards each other on the back so the heart is nice and open. And if it feels safe where you are, you can close off the eyes, let the eyeballs sink back into the head. And then just staying conscious here for a moment to notice what's happening with the breath. Perhaps you notice you can release with the exhale and feel even more connected to the mat below you, even more connected to the earth. And just play with that exhalation to see what else you can relax in the body. Can you relax the eyes a little bit more? Can you relax the tongue a little bit more? On each exhalation, just noticing, is there anything else, anywhere else in the body I can relax? And go ahead and start increasing the depth of your breath. Making each inhale a little bit longer, deeper, stronger, so you awaken that physical sheath of the body. Bringing your awareness back into the physical sheath of the body. Slowly giving a little movement to the fingers and toes. Maybe starting to roll out the wrists and the ankles. When you feel ready, inhaling the arms up overhead, taking a full body stretch and then rolling over onto one side or the other, using that arm as a little pillow. And then whatever arm you're not laying on, bring your hand in front of you, press into the mat and draw yourself up to find a comfortable seat. And just bring that sense of relaxation along with you into your comfortable seat. You can let the hands be heavy on the thighs, palm side down, keeping the gaze turned inward and just noticing how the body feels now. Bring the hands towards one another at the heart center. So finding prayer at the heart center, press the thumbs into the sternum. Bringing the chin towards the chest to acknowledge your own efforts today, your own efforts to arrive and to stick with it. And then lifting the head back up and just see if you can acknowledge and make an effort to take this feeling of relaxation with you in through the rest of your day, or if it's night where you are, into your sweet, sweet dreams. Thank you for allowing me to guide your practice this morning, this evening. It's so wonderful to meet you in this space. The light in me acknowledges and sees the light in you, that we are all the same. Namaste.